Hello. This is Jack here with Unicorn Gaming. I'm here to walk you through the updates for Pokemon Unite in the Chinese version, specifically just for the Autochess parts. So only the changes that are affecting the Autobattler game mode within Pokemon Unite Chinese version. I think it's a great sign that this is, I think, at least the second update that they've done to this game mode, even though it's still in beta. So I think they had one the week before, and they're putting another one out on February 20th, 8:30 Chinese time, I believe. So by the time this video is out, those changes should be live. But even if you log into the game right now, before the changes are live, if you go through some of the Pokemon descriptions, not within the game. So if you look at the Pokédex for the Auto Battler and the held items descriptions, they've already been updated. But if you play the game, it's still not updated until 8:30 Chinese time, because I just tried it out just before recording this video. So let's get to it. There's quite a few updates to the game that I think are going to be massive changes to the game. And the first one is right up there. So they came out and said it. So after the update, you will no longer be able to see the opponent for the next battle. So it's a big change to the game and the way it's going to be played, because myself, I'm around 4,500 points in the game right now, and we're at the stage where people are actually checking out other players' boards and kind of adjusting everything until the last second and trying to fake people out and see where specifically you want to place your units that will dive into the back row, or who you want to frontline and things like that. But after this next update, I don't think we'll be able to do that anymore. I think we'll still be able to see their board state, but not like the second to second changes that people are making. So we'll be able to tell what synergies that they have, what units they have, but we won't be able to see like the exact second to second updates when they're moving things around right before the battle. At least that's what I'm guessing. So let's see when the changes get rolled out. So I'm the one that's translating all of these notices that they've put out. So I think I'm fairly accurate, but if anything's not clear enough, or you think I made a mistake, or you need some clarifications, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try to address them as best I can. I will also put a link to this presentation that I put together. I kind of just threw all of this thing together within like half an hour and making this video before I turn in for the night. But yeah, I'll put a link in it to the presentation in the description as well, and if you want to, you can check it out. So that was the not team preview part is, I think, the biggest thing in the game update. So we'll see how it affects the games. The rest of it, at least in the headlines parts, is fairly minimal. So point number 2 and point number 3, they're just it's kind of superficial changes. They're changing the synergy name for Gengar from Trickster to Elusive. I don't think that matters at all. And then there's some description text optimizations for a bunch of different held items. Some of them also have their actual effects changed, but unless we cover them later in the video, you can just assume that it's just the description that's changed, but the effects have not been changed. So the ones that have had things changed are Rocky Helmet, Leftovers, Buddy Barrier, Weakness Policy, Muscle Band. They mentioned Curse Bangle twice under 2 different names. I don't know if one of them is the new name or not. I haven't been able to figure that out. But Curse Bangle, King's Rock, Twisted Spoon, Curse Bangle again, and then Curse Incense, Charging Charm, Rescue Hood, and Assault Vest. So in my translation, I just left out the second mention of Curse Incense. So these are just fairly straightforward. It's just superficial changes to the descriptions. They specifically mentioned that the effects are not being changed. So then we get to kind of the game balancing parts. So first up is Gengar. Sludge Bomb has just a straight up damage reduction on Sludge Bomb and on Dream Eater and on its Unite move. So it's a straight up nerf on Gengar altogether. So both it moves and the Unite move damage is reduced. No changes on the stats. It also says at the beginning of this section that unless otherwise stated, the changes affect all star levels of the Pokemon. Next up, we have Mamoswine. So specifically for Ice Fang. So Ice Fang originally increases the defense and special defense of Mamoswine after it's used. So it's quite a huge increase, but they've now decreased the time that it lasts from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. So it's a little bit of a nerf on Mamoswine. Let's see how big the effect is. I think that 2-second reduction is quite significant because originally it prompts quite a bit because Ice Fang, you can use it and then 5 seconds it lasts, the effects last, and then a short break after that you use your move again and then you get the defense boost again. Another thing that it also does, which I've accidentally left out of the presentation, is that its Unite move, that the cast trigger is now changed from it used to be, I think you get hit 10 times and then you trigger your Unite move, but now it's cast every 6 seconds. So this is a recurring theme that we'll see a lot more later in this video. So it's the same for all the defenders, and we'll talk a little bit more when we get to them later. So Urshifu has its Unite move changed. So originally, after using the Unite move, your normal attack speed gets increased. So it's still getting increased, but instead of a 15% increase, it's now a 10% increase. That's a slight nerf to Urshifu. It still gets the shield, it still jumps to the back row, so I think it's still going to be quite a powerful unit. And then Decidueye. This is a huge change to Decidueye and the way it's going to be placed. So it's two things. So Leaf Storm still hasn't gotten a buff, and so I'm assuming that everybody's still going to stick with Razor Leaf. At least whenever I play Decidueye, I stick with Razor Leaf. I never change it. So Razor Leaf now, before the additional leaves that it casts when you have Razor Leaf cast, just chooses a random opponent. Usually, I think it goes to the back line. But now, instead of that, it will fix target on the second closest opponent. So you're attacking on most likely the closest opponent, and then your Razor Leaf will hit the second closest. So you're no longer hitting the back line. And for the Unite move, it's also changes. So the Unite move previously, the Shadow Sneak goes to the furthest unit away from you. And now it goes to the closest unit to you, to Decidueye. But instead of dealing 240% damage, it's almost a double increase to 420% damage. I think this might change the way that we position Decidueye and its role within the team. Because before I used to put the Unite on Decidueye when I needed to kind of hit the backline when I don't have something like an Urshifu to jump to the backline. But now it's kind of completely on shredding the front line. Next we have Alola Ninetales. It's just straight up damage increases on both its moves. I think it really needed the buff because it was quite underwhelming. And a lot of times I've used it, I've just kind of used it as a placeholder until I would get Zapdos. Or yeah, usually when I'm using the skill-based synergies, I might pick Ninetales, but then I would drop it as soon as I get Espeon or Zapdos. So for both, Dazzling Gleam gets increased from 152% to 170%, and then Avalanche 126 to 140. These are not just minor bumps. I think these are quite a big bump. So I'm looking forward to using Alola Ninetales, especially because there's something else later in the patch notes that includes the Ice type synergy. So I think that will make Alolan Ninetales and Ice types a little bit more playable. They've given the Ice types quite a lot of buffs since rolling out the game. So I guess it hasn't been doing that well. Next up we have Espeon. So Espeon's Unite move, Store Power. Now the damage is increased, so it's a slight bump, but then the targeting is, I guess, the biggest change. So instead of what it was before, I can't remember, and it's difficult for me to find the answers because, as I said earlier in the video, all the descriptions within the game have already been changed, so I would have to dig through some older videos just to find what it was before. And it's late and I'm tired. I'm already getting tongue twisted recording this video. But so there's a slight bump in the damage, but then now it will target the closest target. I guess that's I don't think that affects Espeon that much because before without the damage increase, just by using its moves, Espeon was already a super solid unit. Like, I've seen my 1-star Espeon with no damage items out-damage like a 2-star Gardevoir with like Twisted Spoon and glasses. So I think this is not gonna hurt Espeon at all, the change in targeting. I actually think it might make it a lot more stronger. I'm guessing we're gonna see people fight over Espeons in the game. And then we have Zapdos. Zapdos' initial move gauge is increased by 10. So this move gauge is referring to when you start casting your moves within the game. So I think between Alola Ninetales and Espeon and Zapdos all getting buffs, this means that the skill-based attacker synergy is going to get a massive buff because like Zapdos getting to cast earlier makes it less reliant on its Unite move. It means that it will be dealing damage a lot earlier. So I think overall this is a much needed boost for that category. And then moving on, we have Dragonite. Its attack speed is increased from 0.8 to 0.9. It's a small little bump, I guess, just to give it a little bit of a buff. And then we get to the meat, another big part of the changes. So we're going through quite a few. These are all defenders. I missed out the translation on Mamo earlier, but it's essentially kind of the same lines. So all the defenders are getting their Unite move cast conditions changed. So before, they all used to get their Unite move casted when they get hit a certain amount of times. And that made things like Crustle and Mamo like really OP early game because you would just put them in the front line. They'll get their Unite move cast constantly because the opposite team is all targeting the closest unit, right? So like Mamo, if you put an Earthquake on it and the Unite move, you'll just stun and CC your opponent's team into oblivion while your backline just chunks them, like slowly chips them down, right? So now all the defenders are getting their Unite move cast conditions changed into the same as all the other units in the game. So everybody else has time-based or attack-based cast conditions, and now all the defenders are being moved into time-based. So Crustle is 8 seconds, Blastoise is 7, Mime is 6 seconds, and Lapras is 8, and Snorlax is 7. So I think among the group, Mime is getting hit by these changes the least, because 6 seconds it still means that Mime can probably still have its Unite move up almost constantly, whereas some of the other ones are like Lapras, for instance. Like before, it was running from all across the board, stunning everybody, and then getting back, and then casting its Unite move again. I think Lapras is hit the hardest with this change, but I think overall the defenders are all hit quite badly. Like I'm guessing we're gonna see a lot less Unite moves on the defenders going forward. I don't know why they made this change, because I think the defenders were quite strong, but they weren't completely broken. Like if you positioned your units correctly, if you had the right move sets, you could still kind of break through them fairly easily. But let's see when these changes roll out how it's going to be. So Crustle, Blastoise, and Mime all only have like the cast conditions changed, but Lapras and Snorlax have a little bit extra. So Lapras, because I guess they're trying to compensate for its Unite move not being cast as often, the shield that it gets from its Unite is now increased. It's a little bit of increase. I don't know how viable it'll make it, but at least it's better than nothing. And then Snorlax, it also gets something added, changed to its Unite move. So it originally, after its Unite move, for every half a second, it gets HP recovered. So it was originally 4, 4, and 20 for every half seconds. And now it's 5, 5, and 25. So I think that might be a significant increase in the HP recovered to make it last a lot longer. We'll have to try it out. I'm gonna have to try it out soon. But to be honest, I haven't used Snorlax that much, because by the time usually I would have 2-starred or even 3-starred Crustle and Mamo if I ever needed a defender, right? So I guess this is going to make the one cost defenders maybe appear a little bit less. Like I think it definitely decreases their playability. Okay, that's all the changes that is on the Pokemon side, and then we get to the held items. So as I said at the top of the video, some of the held items only have their description text optimized. At least that's what they said it was, without changing the actual effects. And then anything that's listed from here on out has actual effects changed. There's 2 that I think are going to affect it quite a bit. The King's Rock and the Twisted Spoon, which I'll get to in a bit. So first they have Choice Specs, which decreased its damage increase. So it originally gave a 65% skill damage increase, and now it's down to 60. 5% decrease could be quite a bit, since I think it was quite a good item on things like Espeon and Zapdos. So the 5% increase, I don't know how much it'll hurt them. And then King's Rock and Twisted Spoon, these are kind of the matching items. So King's Rock originally decreased the defense of anything you hit by 240, and Twisted Spoon by 240 special defense. So these both used to be just a flat decrease, and now it's making them a 45% decrease. That's quite a bit. Like, it's almost like half And I'm guessing like in the early game, like King's Rock and Twisted Spoon used to be quite. You can feel the decrease a lot more, but as the game goes into later rounds, like as you get 2 stars and 3 stars in Pokemon, like it kind of felt underwhelming, right? So these changes will make it less OP in the early stages, but it will increase its usability by a lot in the later stages of the game. And then that's it for the items, and then we get to the synergies. So this is quite interesting. So they've made quite a few adjustments, and I think this is going to be quite interesting to see. So they added another new effect for the ice types. So at 4 ice or 5 ice, both, you get 60%. Oh, sorry, a 60-point increase in defense and special defense. It's not a lot, but it's something, right? Like ice types, the original synergy relies a little bit on damage over time, because you're waiting for that ice to build up on your opponents. Like every time you hit it, you apply a layer of ice damage, right? And you can apply it indefinitely, like unlimited applications. So you want to stick around as long as possible and apply those over and over again. And then now you get a little bump to your defense and your special defense, and hopefully you'll stick around longer. They gave Articuno some buffs in the last round, and now they're giving ice types another another buff in this round. So looks like it's getting a lot of love. And then the EV synergy. This one is also quite a big one. So your move damage at 5 EVs is now increased from 30% to 35%. And at 6 EVs, the comma's damage is increased by 20%. So originally, like you for the EV synergy, when you get to 6 EVs, you get comets that are raining down on your opponents every time you cast a move. So now not only are your move damage increased, your comets also get a 20% damage increase. So that's overall, I think, going to be quite significant bump for EVs. I think the EV synergy is already quite a usable one, because you get you don't get a defender, that's the only downside, but you get a decent supporter that can tank quite well in Umbreon, and then you have a lot of damage output from Espeon, from Sylveon, from Glaceon. It's like, and then you have an all-rounder in Leafeon that's kind of hanging in there with its shields and its recovery. So it was a quite well-rounded synergy, and now it's getting some damage increase as well. So looking forward to it. And the last one is grass. So they finally buffed the grass. That's so as I'm getting in the higher level gameplays, like the higher points, I haven't been able to get even 140. Is sometimes almost costing me the entire game just to get to 140 from the first round. Even if I start building my new green points from the first round, by the time I get 140, I'm probably like down to single digit HP. So I haven't gotten 200 since like very early in the game. So now they've decreased the reward points required. So the first 3 stay the same. So it's still 10, 40, and 80. They haven't done any changes to the rewards, which still makes 40 absolutely ridiculous. Like, it just does not make sense, the 40 reward. But so 40 you get 1 normal, and then 10 you get 1 normal, 40 you also get 1 normal, but at 80 you get 2 rare, and that makes it quite a big of jump. and then usually at 140 you get like quite good items, either a 2-star that's 3 cost or above, and then you get some items, and then at 200 you get the rare items, and maybe a 3-star, a 4 cost 2-star. So now they've decreased that, so it makes 120, and that's a lot more achievable in my opinion. And 180, still don't think 180 is possible, but we'll have to wait and see. So that's all the changes that they've done this round. Uh, the actual changes are coming at 8:30 Chinese time. So I'm gonna put this video out at 8 p.m. Oh, sorry, 8 a.m. Chinese time. So you'll get to see it before the changes actually go live. And help me out. Go check it out. Go find out if my translations are correct. And if you see anything that you think needs more clarification, or if I've made any mistakes, please let me know in the comments. I'm really enjoying playing this game, so I'm gonna be focusing on making content for the game as much as I can. I'm trying to get to enough subscribers on YouTube so I can start streaming gameplay live. Hope y'all enjoyed the content. If you can, please leave me a like and a subscribe. This is Jack at Unicorn Gaming, and I hope to see you next time.